I said I settled for him at a girls' night. He overheard everything, and revenge was brutal. I'm losing my husband because of a girls' night out. This is truly not something I ever imagined saying out loud. I mean, who would have thought that my marriage would crumble because I confided in my girls? I'm employed, so I'll not be able to give the full update in one sitting. I'll just do updates also because I want to keep you guys posted along the way. I hope that is fine on Reddit. I'm 25 years old, and my husband, let's call him Leo, is just 5 years older than me. After 5 years of being together and being married for 3 years, I just itched to do something fun. Yes, my definition of something fun was a night out with the girls. I mean, why not? It was not my first night out with the girls, but this one really did land me in trouble. So all this happened just 2 weeks ago. My best friend called and said she planned an adult girls' night out. I asked why there was a need to state it was an adult girls' night out since we're already adults, but she just told me not to worry. Of course, I didn't care to think too much about it, and I agreed to go. I told Leo about it, and he had no problem with it either. I mean, why should he, though? I never complain when he goes out with the guys anyway. When I go off work on the day of the night out, I made sure to go get my nails, brows, and even my lashes done. I'm still a baddie, even though I'm married, and I don't think being married should stop me. I love to look good, and a girls' night out meant I had to step up my game. My friends are baddies, and they don't joke with how they look. I'm the only married one in the group, so I definitely didn't want to make it look like marriage had ruined my life. When I got to the venue, I finally realized why my best friend called it an adult girls' night out. Oh, wait a minute. We haven't given my best friend a name yet, right? Well, let's just call her V. Sorry, Reddit. I'm kind of new to this, so don't crash out, LOL. Now, where were we? Oh, I said I got to the venue and realized why it was called an adult girls' night out. There was alcohol, a lot of alcohol to be precise, and more alcohol. I'm not trying to make it seem like I've never had alcohol before, but I had quit taking alcohol like 6 months before the girls' night out. Leo and I don't have a child yet, and we've been trying to have a child. For some reason, I stopped taking alcohol because I believed it was stopping me from having a child. LOL. I also missed my monthly cycle one time and panicked because I thought that I was pregnant and was still taking alcohol. Turns out I wasn't pregnant and was just having a cycle charge. Long story short, I stopped taking alcohol because I was holding on to hope that I would take in someday. Now back to the venue. When I got there and saw so much alcohol, I just knew I was going to be in trouble. Leo doesn't drink, so abstaining from alcohol wasn't hard around. But since I was suddenly surrounded by it, I just knew I wouldn't be able to hold it in. The girls didn't know why I had stopped taking alcohol because I was ashamed to tell them. Yes, I wanted to keep my reputation intact. Is that a bad thing? I didn't want them to think I was trying hard to get a baby or that something was wrong with me. Ever since getting married, I just never want my marriage to change me. I like being hot and independent, and my friends are exactly what I just described. Since I am the first and only one to marry so far, I have been trying to make it look like marriage never changed me. Why? Because my friends are literally against marriage. They believe it chains you and changes your body. Okay, I didn't mean to deviate. I just wanted to give a little backstory so you guys can understand some things a little better. The venue was popping with music, and the best part was that there was an exclusive section for us. According to my friends, we were going to play some serious games, and they didn't want strangers all up in our business. Everything looked fun, and everyone looked beautiful. I didn't really think too much into anything because I was just happy to be out and about after a long day at work. We sat down, caught up on each other's lives, and then talked about finances. Things started out very simple and surface level. I thought everything was going to be chill. That's until the real games actually began. We were to play an all-honest game, which basically meant that we had to go in-depth if we were asked a question. No platonic or political answers that stayed neutral or deviated from the original question. The catch was that after each question, we were supposed to take a shot. If you didn't want to answer your question, you were supposed to take 4 shots. So basically, the game was set in such a way that you would have no choice than to actually want to answer each question you were asked. I got nervous all of a sudden. Why? I felt like my life wasn't perfect, or at least my life wasn't as perfect as theirs. No marriage, no restraints, and no worry about conceiving. I mean, just looking at them, I could tell that we had different priorities. They were drinking easily even before the game started, talking to their numerous boyfriends, flirting with the servers, and showing as much skin as possible. I couldn't do any of that because I had to remember that I was a married woman. Did that affect me? Oh yes, it definitely did. I got so nervous because I didn't know what kind of questions they would ask. Because of the sudden nerves that took over, I started drinking. It started from just a casual sip from my glass of wine to tap, and then the whole glass was almost empty. Before I knew it, I started to ask myself why I had been denying myself so much just because I was married. It felt unfair to me because I wanted to know why I had to be the one to stop drinking, even though I made the choice myself and knew very well that Leo didn't even like to drink at all. I was self-sabotaging at that moment, but to be honest, I didn't really know what I was doing. So the game started and the questions started rolling in. It was all surface level at first, classic and cute, and then before I knew it, the real questions were being asked. It didn't take my age for the rest to answer, but for me it did. Why? Because my questions were different. I wasn't being asked how many flings I had or how many men had paid for my shopping in the last week. I was being asked if my husband was good in bed, or if he actually had money, or if I was miserable in the marriage. One question that stuck with me was, does Leo buy you flowers every day? When I got asked that question, I was in shock. Like, what does that actually mean? Leo doesn't buy me flowers every day? That's what I thought, and that's what I said out loud. At that moment, it felt like it was a bad thing. But now that I'm thinking about it with a clear head, I'm confused. I need you guys to help me out here. My husband works 10 hours at work and still comes home to focus on his personal business. He's a freelancer and a very good one at that. He makes enough money to sustain our adequate home, bills, and insurance, and he actually does get me gifts. He buys me flowers like once or twice every week, takes me out to get dinner every Saturday and Sunday, since he doesn't go to work then, and then we go shopping when he's done from work on Fridays. He might not buy me flowers every day, but I don't think that's really a routine at all. My friends had different thoughts, though. They started giving each other side eyes and shaking their heads. Even my best friend Eve said something along the lines of, "Okay, that's nasty. Common boyfriends in talking stages get flowers every single day, and he's only doing it once or twice a week. Does he even know how lucky he is to be with a baddie?" After she said that, literally every other person in the room agreed. They were seconding to her opinion so much that I couldn't do anything but sit there and question if I was actually miserable in my marriage. I already started getting ideas in my head, and I was getting angry at Leo, who wasn't even present. The questions kept rolling round, and everyone was answering till it was my turn again. I was already hit with so many surprising questions that, to be honest, I didn't even care at that point. Or rather, let me put it this way, I didn't think they could ask why questions that would catch me off guard anymore. I thought they were done with me, but it seemed like they were just getting started. The next question went like this. Do you think Leo deserves you? I don't think he does because you're a baddie. He should be happy you even agreed to marry him after just 2 years. How often does he take you out to dinner? I was stunned at the question, guys. I know it was a stupid question and I should have just shunned it immediately, but something about being reminded that I'm the prize just made me happy. It sounds crazy, but I was actually happy that my friends still considered me a baddie. They considered me one of them, and to me that was more than enough, so I started yapping about my personal life like a fool. I said something like, "No, just twice a week. He's mostly busy during the week, so just during the weekends. We go out for dinner and go shopping too on Fridays. Just some casual stuff." Immediately I said that. It was like I had poured a bucket of ice water on my friends' faces. I'm not even joking. Everyone was staring at me like I was some sort of survivor or something. I felt really uncomfortable because the last thing I wanted was to appear like a loser or someone whose life had ended or become boring just because she got married. While all this was happening, I completely lost track of time and forgot that it had already gotten so late. Maybe it was actually because I was in the private section and didn't see people start to leave. It was already almost 2 a.m. in the morning, and for me that was very late. I always got home by 1 a.m. because we usually finished at 12. Also, I would get ready to leave after seeing other people leave. Leo always waited up for me so we could go to bed together, and then he would massage my feet if I told him the heels made my feet ache. So, when I didn't get home by that time, he was already worried and had sent me several texts, but I couldn't see them, because one of the rules for the game at the beginning was that everyone had to switch off their phone and keep it on the table to avoid any distractions. I didn't think too much about it before doing it when they asked, because I always shared my location with Leo after going anywhere without him. He also does the same. That day, I also tested him and informed him that we were at the exclusive section. I wanted to let him know so he wouldn't think we had unwanted company and get worried. In other words, I already told Leo my exact location before switching off my phone. I had no idea, though, that it was going to come back to bite me in the back. So back to the question I answered, guys. I'm so sorry for deviating once again. I know it's very annoying, LOL, but it's just so you guys can understand everything, because it's a pretty complicated situation. My answer to the question stirred up drama, and one of my friends suddenly said something like, I'm sorry to say this, but Leo is definitely lucky to be married to you. You're too much of a baddie for him. He definitely doesn't deserve you. All right, anyone with a working brain was probably supposed to counter that statement, but I felt like my friends wanted the best for me, and I still do. I felt pressured to prove them right. I wanted to put it out there that I was indeed the prize in my marriage. I wanted to make it known that Leo is the lucky one, so I said, yes, I definitely feel like he needs to thank his stars. He tries his best, but I know that I'm the prize. I had so many running after me, and I still do. I settled for him, yet he still can't keep up. Yes, guys, I said that to them. I didn't think it would be a big deal because I never imagined that anything would happen. I just said it and didn't think before speaking. My friends looked satisfied, like they supported me and wanted me to know my worth. On the other hand, I got so nervous all of a sudden. Guys, I was so nervous that I decided to take another shit by myself. Obviously, I said part of the game rules was that we had to take a shot after answering each question. So I decided to take 2 shots because I felt overwhelmed. Oh, Redditors. That's where things got really messy. I didn't expect to hear someone say, I thought you stopped drinking. When I heard that, I basically froze and turned towards whoever said that. I already knew who it was, but I didn't want to believe that it was who I thought it was. I just didn't want to believe that Leo was standing there. Like, what were the odds, right? OMG, I actually feel like a fool right now. I still can't believe it. Like he had to be standing there after I basically finished telling my friends that I settled for him. Everyone suddenly went quiet because they were all so shocked. But I didn't want their silence at that point. I was honestly confused. They had so much to say before, but they were suddenly quiet. They were suddenly quiet when I needed them to speak up and heal the situation or even start up a conversation. It just didn't make any sense to me at all. Before I could even properly understand what was happening, Leo just left. I mean, he left. The first thing I did was to stand up because I was actually stunned. I expected my friends to stand up, but no one did. No one even said anything. I was almost tearing up, but I tried to stay strong. I mean, I just called myself the prize in front of them. Why should I act differently then? So I tried to keep my chin up and run after Leo. He was waiting for me outside. That made me happy, and that honestly gave me some hope. But the hope didn't last long because what he said would forever be etched in my brain. I don't remember the exact words, guys, but it was something like this. You're really a fool, don't you think? You think you settled for me, you ungrateful brat. So you lied that you stopped drinking, and then you decided to ridicule our marriage? Watch me show you who actually settled in this marriage. Guys, when he said those words to me, it hurt. Those words hurt so deeply because I never imagined my dear husband saying those things to me. It just didn't make sense to me, and it still doesn't. But the hurt I felt when he said those words cannot be compared to the hurt I actually feel now. I never imagined that he would actually treat me the way he is treating me now. I went home to see that my car was no longer there. He bought me the car after our marriage, and I didn't drive myself to the nights out that day because my best friend came to pick me up. Okay, guys, I'm at work now and decided to do this during my free time. I need to get back to work now. I'll continue when I'm back home. Update. Don't hate me, guys. I couldn't continue last week because a lot happened after I got back from work. While you all were blowing my phone with requests for an update, my life was literally spiraling out of control. So like I said, Eve came to pick me up, so I didn't take the car that day. After going back to grab my phone and asking Eve to drop me off once again, I was met with the most shocking scene of my life. I don't know what Leo did with my car, or how his first thought was to take my car away before I got back home, but that happened. I tried to speak to him. I mean, it only made sense that I would try to explain myself to my husband, but he refused. It was already 4 a.m. in the morning, but Leo was busy grabbing my things from the closet and stuffing it into my bag. I asked him where he wanted me to go that night, and he told me to go back and meet my baddie friends. I refused to leave, and I literally had to lock the both of us inside and hide the keys till it was daybreak. After I did that, He locked me out of the bedroom, and so I had to stay in the living room. I couldn't sleep even though I was hungover. That was the last thing on my mind. I stayed awake till 10. I'm waiting for Leo to leave the room, but he didn't. It was a Thursday, and he had to go to work, but he didn't step out. I had to go to work too, but I already took a day off from work because I knew I would be too tired of the girls' night out. It was so shocking to see that Leo refused to come outside, so I slept off at some point. When I woke up, the bedroom door was opened, Leo was not home, and the doors were still locked. I was actually in shock because I thought he would wake me up to ask for the keys, but he didn't. I had woken up by 4 p.m., and I was weak and hungry and hungover. I searched for the keys at the place I hid them and found out it was nowhere to be found. I just guessed that he checked the security footage in the house. The fact that he would rather go through all that than actually wake his wife up made my heart sink. I was so depressed and I cried my eyes out, leaving him several messages, but he didn't pick up. I just couldn't understand why he was punishing me brutally when all I did was talk. I didn't cheat. It felt unfair. I even went to the kitchen to eat and everything was cleared up, guys. Every single grocery we had was gone. There was nothing in the fridge. Leo actually decided to punish me. Later that evening, the power was cut, and so was the water. It was almost like he was trying to chase me out of the house without coming to see me. I refused to give up and actually sort the power and light out myself using my own money. I didn't see Leo for 2 weeks after, even until I posted here for you guys that day. I would leave him voicemails and messages till I realized he blocked me everywhere. People would come into the house to take furniture one by one, claiming that they had authority and showing me a stupid document. It went on for so long that I had to change the locks. I was literally going crazy, and Eve and some few friends would come and visit. They would tell me I went too far. Like, how could they say that to me? They encouraged me. They put words into my mouth. So how did I go too far? After I made this post that day and went home, I came back to Leo waiting for me at the door. I was so happy because I believed that something good was finally happening for me. I thought he came to apologize for treating me that way only for him to hand me divorce papers. Yes, divorce papers. Why would Leo want to divorce me for saying I settled for him? I didn't cheat. It was just words. Is that enough to get divorced? Is that enough to be served divorce papers? No, I actually need answers, guys, because it seems like I'm going crazy. I tried to apologize to him and make him see things from my perspective, but he refused. He told me I could have the house, but he took almost all the furniture and important things. What was I supposed to do with a big house and all those bills? Paying the light and water bill for only 2 weeks had wiped out almost all my savings. I didn't want a liability. He left me and told me he would see me in court. This still doesn't make sense to me because I don't believe I deserve this. Till date, I can't find my car. What's all these? I'm sorry, but I don't believe anything I did should have brought out this much revenge. Yes, I shouldn't have said what I said, but I didn't mean it. He could punish me another way, but ending our marriage and basically selling my car? That's too far. Maybe he already had plans to leave me because this just hurts. For the past 3 weeks, he hasn't taken me out on any date or dinner, bought me flowers, or even taken me shopping. He doesn't even speak to me, and now I had to hire a lawyer for our divorce case because he's actually serious. I'm actually getting divorced, and my lawyer is telling me to just settle with the house because we had no children together. I didn't quit working, and we each had our jobs before marriage. So that just means I'm leaving the marriage with a big house that I can't sustain the bills? So I lost my husband, marriage, car, savings, and sanity, all because I said I settled for him. Something I didn't mean? This is the worst moment of my life, and no, I'm not giving any other update. I'm going through hell, and it's not okay.